But with that being said, we're going to start with specific players here. And the first one on our list is Dak Prescott. All right. This was a guy that through 5 games last year was on pace to break Peyton Manning's single season TD record and the season yards record as well before that gruesome injury that derailed his season. He was in contract talks before last season. They didn't get anywhere. They ended up franchise tagging him this year. Can they get a deal done? Jacob, what are we thinking right now with Dak Prescott? Obviously, he stays a Cowboy, right?
If I had to put money on it, yeah. I don't see – because, look, franchise quarterbacks moving is not something that happens often. It's just crazy that this year we've had Matthew Stafford, Carson Wentz move. I think the idea of it is becoming more common, but still not the likely scenario. I do think there's other things that could happen, like possibly someone else taking his job and then in turn them moving on from Dak. But when it's all said and done, I think he's going to end up in Dallas. I think they might franchise tag him again. But the thing about that is it goes up even more. I believe it was like 31 million to franchise him last year, and now it's 37 million. And if this will never happen, but if they did it a third time, it would be like 50 million.
Yeah, Dak gets a 20% raise.
Yeah, so
with this next franchise tag.
It's
so
possible.
I think he's owed $37 million if he's franchise tagged.
Yeah, I think that'll
money for 1 year.
I think they'll franchise him one more year, possibly.
Justin, you agree?
No, I disagree. They're gonna give him a contract. It's kind of like,
is it time?
It's not only time; it's out of respect too, because that man played his tail off for so long, and he was gonna get paid big if he didn't get injured. So it's kind of like he might not get paid that big bucks, but he's gonna get a contract with the Cowboys out of respect and because he's a legit franchise quarterback. I can't see him leaving at all unless it's some off-the-wall trade for Deshaun or Russell that we don't see coming at all. But even then, that's so far-fetched. That dude's going to be a Cowboy.
A Cowboy for at least the next few years. Joseph, you ride in the same train as us?
Yeah, I think they're going to give him a long-term deal also. I wasn't huge on Dak actually going into last – from a fantasy perspective, I like him. But as far as a winning quarterback, I wasn't huge on him. But – look at what happened to the Cowboys last year. They fell apart when he went down. They were not the greatest when he was there.
But they were still losing, too, with him.
But they were staying competitive, at least.
Every game was like a shootout.
Yeah, once he left.
They were fun to watch.
They were awful. They were terrible. Not only do you see the impact that Dak makes on the team, they were losing last year with or without him, but all of a sudden Zeke wasn't good.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb went from being a top 15, top 10 wide receiver in fantasy to not existing basically for most of the year.
Amari Cooper still stuck around a little bit there.
His ceiling was lowered.
Yeah, I think he's going to get paid. I went to Tupelo, Mississippi one time, and that's, I guess, where he played college ball, and they love him out there. They're a big fan.
Wow.
He deserves the money. I just thought I'd throw that tidbit out there. But
Joe, the seasoned traveler.
He's going to get paid, man, because he deserves it. I don't listen. I saw that they're progressing towards talks. Some people were saying he might be the second highest paid behind Mahomes. That's going to be a mistake, but you got to pay the man.
Yeah, I concur with all of you guys. I think either a deal gets done or he gets franchise tagged. An interesting note to think about, though, this year with COVID and everything like that, a lot of these teams have lost revenue to some extent. And when you talk specifically about the franchise tag, it's been said that teams are going to have to be very particular about using it this year with the increased wages this year that players could earn if they are possibly franchise tagged. So it won't be as easy as, say, the last 3 years where we saw this record number of players being franchised. I think teams are going to be a little bit more judicious as they progress forward. But pertaining specifically to Dak, I'd like to see him get a deal, but he could be one of the few that gets franchise tagged.
I'm curious, though. Let's say he doesn't, for some reason, he doesn't go back to Dallas. Like, I don't know. They work out a trade getting Russell Wilson without trading Dak, and he's a free agent. What team is the best fit? I would say maybe Denver, to be honest. because you slot him right in there with those weapons. He has another 3 really good receivers right there. Does anybody else have a team that would maybe be the best fit?
I'd love to see him go to the Niners. That would be crazy for that team. They get a elite quarterback and defense gets healthy again, and they solve all their needs right there in that one move. Mm-hmm. You can almost say it's Deshaun Watson light after his injury, but I still think he's going to be elite when he comes back.
Yeah, I think the team that makes the most sense. I don't think that there's any situation where this happens. Let me first.
Yeah, he's going to be in Dallas for sure.
No, I could see what you said happening. Like Dallas could say, okay, we can't get a deal done. Russell Wilson's on the move. We'll give you Dak and a first rounder. But I don't see a situation where he's not included in that trade.
Oh,
but
I see.
Just for fantasy sakes, let's say that he isn't. I like him in Chicago with
if Allen Robinson stays.
Yeah, Allen Robinson. They have a good defense. They were just 8-8, made the playoffs. You swap out Trubisky for who's a mobile quarterback for Dak, we'll see what happens after his injury, but who was a mobile quarterback. I think it's just an upgrade. The fit makes sense. The team makes sense. The system makes sense.
Agreed.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But again, we agree. We think he's staying in Dallas. And with that being said, it's time to move on. Oh, I guess before we do, Dak Prescott, healthy next year, playing for the Cowboys. Is he back in top 10 consideration for fantasy relevance?
Oh, yeah.
That
top
means
10
Amari
without a
Cooper
doubt.
goes top 10 ref. CD Lamb might see top 15 potential. Even Michael Gallup might see top 20, top 25 potential if they're in shootouts like they were last year.
I think they're back to where they are. Definitely helps Zeke, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Helps Zeke tremendously.